Welcome back, everyone. We're doing part 3 on my wrecked ND Miata. Today we'll be working on pulling out the battery, the radiator, the condenser, probably the fuse box, getting a solid look at our engine and the front of it so we can see everything's okay there. I don't know if it will be, but hopefully it is. All right, so let's get started. One thing I haven't looked into yet is if I have any glass for this door. It's there. So I'm going to do those 2 bolts, and that should be able to get our battery out now that we have some play in our radiator and condenser. I'll need to undo the top hose here and the bottom hose over there. I don't know what the bottom of the airbox will take. Seems like it's pretty solid in there still. And then our fuse box will be a whole mess because it's got the harness attached to it, which runs just about everywhere. All right, airbox and battery are out. I think everything on the front's okay. That belt's a little pushed back. The larger belt also is pushed off the alternator a little bit. AC condenser down there, I'm not sure how it is yet. It looks like it could be a little off. Luckily, it looks like our plastic thermostat housing is all right. The airbox was jammed underneath it, but I think that's made durable enough. Looks like the fuse on our battery terminal is actually okay. So that didn't get a chance to go off, although I really thought it would. I've already got an awesome new tripod I'm really enjoying. It allows me to do things like this. Without creating a lot of noise. So no more zip ties on the tripod. Upper line, lower line. I think I've said this a billion times. I don't know what I'll include. I should be able to pull our fan and everything off with it. All right, radiator, condenser, and fan are off. And let's leak something. Flip this around so this is now backwards. That's driver's side, that's passenger side. Just to say that there's the lower, the upper, then also a smaller lower and a smaller upper. Might be a transcooler since it was a different fluid in these two. It takes a different pass than our coolant through the radiator itself. Got our fan off. There was this little module attached to the fan. Don't know exactly what it is yet. We took our middle air intake piece out from right here, and I believe it's not broken at all. There's a gouge there, but I could fill that a little bit. Otherwise, it seems solid. Alright, let's clear this out of the way. Our electric steering rack is right here, the pump for it, and our lower radiator hose is pushed up against it. This line's torn right here, and I can see a split right there. That's just a little bit of hose, so that's not a big deal. Really hoping our steering rack is okay. That might be cracked a little bit. Hopefully you can replace just a part of it or just whatever's needed and not the whole thing. that's left on the fuse box is that very large bundle that goes all the way through the firewall. So there'll probably be connectors on the other end. All right, that's gonna be all for tonight. I'm gonna do a little bit of cleanup. Can't really do anything about the wiring right now until I get it from the interior. So I'll pick this back up tomorrow. Okay, I'm gonna leave the fuse box where it is for now, since I don't wanna deal with interior stuff yet. And I'm going to jack this up, get the wheel off, and then get the hub off, because we should have our new one coming in today. Alright, I finally got the knuckle and the last piece of the knuckle off the tie rod. And that's this right here. You can see how not round it is. It was stretched before it decided to crack. Made it a little difficult to get off, just being this small piece, and that it was so messed up. With enough wedges, it worked. That should keep our tie rod from our steering rack out of the way. I was just cleaning up, putting all my nuts back where they go. I think in tapping this too much, I messed up the threads. No longer really wants to go on there. It just doesn't have a starting point. So maybe that can be rethreaded, or I'll be getting a new one anyway, so who knows. But yeah, I was picking up, there are plastic tabs from the fender liners. Then I looked closer, and that's our motor mount. And that right there is it broken. Here's a top-down view. Then you go to the other side, and we've got the same situation. So our engine is only connected to our transmission, which is connected to the power plant frame, and then it's sitting on broken motor mounts and the skid plate. Some other unfortunate things are this lip kind of curls out until it doesn't right there. And that's our water pump pulley, so that's bad. Our alternator pulley looks okay all the way around. A bit lower, we have our crank pulley, and I flaked some of this off earlier, but that cracked. There we go, there's a little more. So that's no good either. And same thing with our air compressor. Over here we have the smaller lines that ran to our radiator, and then it goes into a hard line, which is clamped down, and then the hard line is completely flat. All right, I'm gonna take a break from the car itself and work on our parts graveyard. There are some things I can pull out that will be either very useful on the rebuild, or I can sell. Alright, that's going to conclude the working portion for the video, and now I want to talk about the future of the build. When I originally won the car, I knew I had a few different options. One would be to part it out, which didn't really appeal to me. I knew I'd make money, but I also knew that it would take a lot of time to sell the different parts, and so I might not make my money back right away, and I might be sitting on things like an engine and a transmission for quite a long time, as they are the Sky Active ones, so a little more involved. They're less power than the NC, and even the NC you swap with from the 2.0 to the 2.5 to get more power. So I don't know that anybody would actually want this engine without, theirs blowing up, but whose ND engine is blowing up right now? Pretty much no one. So parting it out didn't appeal to me. My second option was going to be to fully restore it. It would require a very large upfront investment to buy all the pieces, have the frame pulled, get it all done, get it paint matched, and then sell it off, and I would reasonably be able to make a profit. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't. And then the third option, before the car had shown up, this was the option I was leaning towards, and that was to rebuild it enough that it could start and then drive, as in somebody could put it on a trailer and take the project from there and make it their own. Now, since having the car, I've been torn in different directions on where to go with it. Thought about even selling my daily, making this my new daily, and fixing it to a point that I would like. But the reason I don't really have a huge interest in that anymore is it's just automatic, and yeah. Now that I've had the car more and inspected the damage and have a good idea of what all of it is, I'm sure there's more things I haven't found yet. And I found a good front half firewall forward of the car for really cheap, and shipping was going to be a lot, but still it would only be about the cost of the car. And that included the subframe and the whole front curtain. It had like a washer bottle with it, a lot of different pieces that could nickel and dime me, but it was all in one. But I would still require a huge amount of the front assembly stuff and then all the body panels. I also thought about going with a tube frame front, but I don't know that I could get a restored title with that, and then it would just be a race car, and I need a daily car if I'm going to keep this. I've gotten great ideas from fans that were suggesting I cut a new front clip from like an old JDM car on it, and I really like that idea, and I really think I will do that in the future. But I don't think this is the car to do it because it's automatic, and to swap over to manual on this car takes more than just a clutch and a pedal in the transmission and the shifter. It also has an entirely different radiator. It has an entirely different air box. Those are just the pieces I found. I would need a different fuse box, different computers. So doing a manual swap isn't really cost effective when I could just buy a manual car. Like I said, I never meant to get this car, and even though an ND is a dream car of mine, this isn't my dream ND. My dream ND would be a club manual, ceramic white, possibly RF, I don't know. I've gone back and forth on that. I love the look, but I don't know if I'd want the view obstruction. So while this car has definitely increased my YouTube traffic, and I've been enjoying that, and I've been enjoying making the videos, and I enjoy tearing in the cars overall. Right now, I'm planning on buying a house in about 5-6 months, and I need to be saving for a down payment. So I can't really invest much into this car right now. And I think it's reached the point where I'm ready to part out and move on from it. I can make my money back. I can profit, I can get rid of it out of my garage in a reasonable time fashion, and then whatever pieces I have left will just have to be moved on their own. This year, my plan is to get my Project 96 Po running and driving, and at the point where I'm happy with it, because I haven't driven the car really other than around the block in over a year. Right now I can't because I'm doing a major wiring process. And so the goal for that car by the end of the year is running and driving, black paint. I have the wheels for it, get tires on those, roll the fenders, get that on. And then I want to make a custom carbon fiber dash. I want to redo some of the other interior bits to make it match more. And I think with all that, I'd be happy with the project, and I wouldn't feel like it's taken me many, many years to do anything on it. All right, so I haven't totally made up my mind that I'm gonna part it out, but that's where I'm leaning, just because the easiest way to rebuild this car would be to buy another one that was crashed in the rear pretty significantly so that it's cheap and that meets the same specs. And so looking for all of that, this car would just have to sit for many, many months, because I think the 2018s might have a different harness than the 2016, 2017. A few features were changed. I would need it to be an automatic car for it to match up, and I don't need the color to match because I've had an idea for a wrap. It wouldn't be a full wrap, it would just be a wrap that split the color from the front to the back with a little design in it, so it didn't look too weird, but it kind of worked. And with having the original colors of each half of each car. But considering how significant our frame damage is, I still won't be able to do the whole job myself. I'll have to take it to a frame shop and have it pulled. And on top of that, then I'll need the new section, welded in, and I could learn to do that myself over, a bit of time right now. But like I said, going for the house, that's priority. That affects more than just what I want to do for fun. That affects my life. All right, so I haven't totally made up my mind, but those are kind of my thoughts on different directions and where I'm really leaning. But what I want to do right now is create a poll, and I think it's going to be up in that corner for you, or I don't know. I'm going to make a poll, and so if you ended up watching this video all the way through, thank you so much. Thank you for subscribing. I'm sorry if this is the build you wanted to see and you wanted to see it done. I know I tried to create a lot of hype around it, and it's pretty much worked much better than my other videos. But I'm gonna create a poll with all the different options that I've listed, and I will take into strong consideration what reaches #1. And thanks everyone so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to see what I do in the future. There will be more videos on this, no matter where I go, whether it's just how to strip out an ND. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.